the ones in the chat. Who knows what number podcast this is? You guys been doing really good at keeping up with it because I've been really consistent also. Long story short, I had 1.6 M's on here. And was making vids. You reacted to a vid I made. I stopped. So I was dominating strangers? I love when people say game, motherfuckers like this talking about game is convincing women. You fool. You fool. I think this is 167. Y'all sure it's 165? I think it's 160. I'm gonna check right now. So y'all going with 166, huh? Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see, amigo. ¿Por qué tu número? Ah, you guys were wrong. It's 167. That's how I know you missed the day. I've been consistent with this shit every day. It's the 1st of March, and we doing at least 22 podcasts this month. We doing over 200. We're going to do 200 or more podcasts this year. You're slacking. You missed the day. Yesterday was 166. Today is 167, you mutter suckers. Drop the ones in the chat if you're ready to get started. Drop the mutter sucking ones. Drop the ones. All I want to see is consecutive ones. Ones. Hit the one. Drop the one. I don't care if you hit the one more than once. As long as I'm just seeing ones. I want to see ones like I'm in a strip club. Let me see your ones. 21. Can you do something for me? Hey, chat, can you drop the ones for me? All right. That's enough ones. Let's get it going. Podcast number 167. Thank you. Thank you very much. You girls are always so nice on here. Y'all be giving me all these compliments. Y'all be giving me everything but some head. No, I'm joking. I am joking. That was a jokey joke. Just a jokey joke. All right, let's get it started. All right, guys. Podcast number 167. Today we're going to be talking about diminishing your needs and lessening your wants. And I think this is a really important topic because I know a lot of guys, they want a lavish lifestyle. And I would say even some women too. You want a lavish lifestyle. You want the nice things. You want the luxurious things, but we're not building to get it. And I know it's very hard. And honestly, you're not going to do that on an average salary. And like I said, you can have a pretty good salary. You can have an even great salary and be considered high value, but it's usually something you have to build up to. You know, when I was growing up, one of the big things that was talked about was being a made man. You know, it's something that comes from, the Italian community, right? But I was never really big on the Italian community, as far as the movies go, anyway, right? Like I've dated Italian girls, right? Not a lot, but I've had my good share of some. But when it comes to the movies, they talk about made men, and made men are people that came from the bottom, and they fought their way to the top, and they reached a certain level of success. But we don't really talk about that with guys nowadays because nobody wants to work hard. Everybody just wants to be handed shit. So a part of being a made man and reaching a certain level of success, and success is being able to take care of yourself first and foremost, and then being able to take care of your family. A man who doesn't take care of his family, it can't be rich. And it goes back to that old Godfather line. I mean, I wasn't always too crazy about the Italian movie and the gangster movies because those guys were racist. I never understood that. Like, they call you a fucking moolie and they call you the N word, but then it's like, well, we like that, and the family structure is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, but when you're talking about being a made man, you have to diminish your needs and lessen your wants in order for us to get to the place we want to get. And I know we talk about women a lot, but what do women love? They love the men who can take care of them. They love the men with money. And so that's what we're going to be talking about. So if you know how the podcast goes, whenever we start, we play a song first. And this is J.O. Say It Ain't. And right after this song, we're going to get into the podcast. So don't go anywhere. We're going to be here for a half an hour. Grab your popcorn, grab your juice. Keep that live running and keep those likes running until I start talking again. All right. This is J.O. Say It Ain't.
Yeah, nigga. This is that big Hollywood shit, nigga. We copping that shit you wish you could get. You know what I'm saying? We ain't fucking around out here, man. Fuck you thought it was, nigga. You know how we do it, nigga. We doing back-to-back shit. Ain't no stopping, ain't no motherfucking breaks, nigga. This shit ain't for the weak. So tell them niggas, watch out. I'm gon' blow, ain't depending on no niggas, yeah, I'm gon' roll. I ain't even tripping about the lies being told. That's what happens when you poppin' niggas say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. Got the city on fire, but I'm still too cold. Always tell it like it is, yeah, you know I'm too bold. But you still sleeping on me, niggas say it ain't so. Say it ain't so, got it figured out. Tried to be the nice guy, but now I'm on a different route. Probably got your girlfriend in my crib, just trying to dick her down. And best believe I kick her out if she don't plan on putting out. Yeah, cause I'm a dog, I'm a fucking.
Guys, run up the likes while the song is playing.
Trying to fuck some more, yeah. So what you want from a nigga? I done found out the game, and they don't be loving niggas. I'm good, I'm all set. The way I do my own thing, yeah, they all vex. Out here calling shots like a motherfucking rep. Whole time y'all was playing checkers, I was playing chess. Man, this shit a mess. I'm gon' blow, ain't depending on no niggas. Yeah, I'm gon' roll. I ain't even tripping about the lies being told. That's what happens when you poppin' niggas say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. Got the city on fire, but I'm still too cold. Always tell it like it is, yeah, you know I'm too bold. But you still sleeping on me, niggas say it ain't so. Say it ain't so, that I'm back, nigga. Tell shorty that I'm in. She know he a whack, nigga, doing all that yapping. He just hating cause my stack's bigger. Hit it from the back, I'm the one that got her ass bigger. Yeah, and I'm a boss, I'm a fucking boss. Feeling like a Cali, baby, I ain't never took a loss. Nah, and I made y'all with the cross. Putting on for my city, yeah, I put that on the cross. So I'm good, I'm all set. Who's real, who's fake? Man, let's put them to the test. I ain't worried about a thing, baby, I ain't never stressed. Man, thought I was that nigga, man, I must confess. Bitch, I've been the best. I'm gon' blow, ain't depending on no niggas. Yeah, I'm gon' roll. I ain't even tripping about the lies being told. That's what happens when you poppin' niggas say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. Got the city on fire, but I'm still too cold. Always tell it like it is. Yeah, you know I'm too bold, but you still sleeping on me, niggas say it ain't so. Say it ain't.
All right, guys, that was J.O. Say It Ain't. Let's get into this podcast. So today we're going to be talking about diminishing your needs and lessening your wants. And this is what I noticed. I know a lot of guys want to be, they want to have a certain lifestyle. A lot of people want a certain lifestyle of luxury, and a lot of the times I feel like when talking to the men, this is something that I put the responsibility of men on, right? Like I expect the man to want to do these things. And this is divine information, right? When you look at a lot of the Abrahamic religions and even still outside of religion, you didn't even need religion in this to understand that your responsibility as a man, society norms, a standard that is for men is to provide and protect. But a lot of the times we don't do this strategically, right? You can protect. Yeah, anybody can get a hold of a weapon. Anybody can learn how to fight, which sometimes does take some money too if you need to learn. It takes some type of dedication, but we want the fancy things. We want jewelry. We want nice cars. Um, but the problem is we don't know how to get there as men. We don't understand that concept of being a made man. And I can tell you that I wasted a lot of time and not understanding how time really works, and time goes like this, right? And understanding that in my 20s, I should have did a lot of things that would have made my life a lot better now. Although I consider myself to be a lot younger and there are people that are a lot older than me, are just a little bit older than me that say you're still very young. But then I think about the guys that are younger than me and the things that I wasn't told. I didn't have this access to. So this is the things that we're going to talk about for you guys. We're going to talk about, building yourself up and putting yourself in position to have these nice things, right? To have the luxury cars, the nice cars, because we like people who have them, right? And the thing is, I see a lot of people start to hate. You don't want to hate on that person because you can have it too. When you see those nice things, you say, Alhamdulillah. You say, oh, damn, that's what's up. You say thank you. You say thank you for yourself. Because whenever you say thank you, you're tricking your mind into to thinking that you receive something, that you have something, because that's the only time you ever show gratitude, right? So when you see these nice things, you want to say thank you. You want to say alhamdulillah. You know what I'm saying? You want to be grateful for it, that you're able to see it. Because think about the person. I heard that most of the world outside the United States lives on like $2 a day. $2 a day. Some of us spend more than $2 a day, right? On our regular commute to maybe work, our regular commute to the gym, you'll probably spend more than $2 a day. So we have a great chance and a great capability of doing things even still making a great living with, the wage gap getting bigger and businesses and that gap getting bigger, but we still have a good chance to do these things. Now, obviously, you guys know that when I say diminishing your needs and lessening your wants is something that's going to get you to the place you want to be. So when we talk about this, what does that mean? Like, say, for example, there are a lot of things that we think we need. There are a lot of things that we think we want, but we can sacrifice in order to build ourselves up, right? Like, say, for example, if you're 19 or if you're 20, even if you're 25, 5 and 10 years, do you understand the amount of money you can save? Do you understand what compound interest is? There are things that you can invest in by your fifth year. You can have anywhere from 80 to $100,000 saved up, right? And we've talked about conventional banks. Conventional banks, conventional banks, they don't really do a lot. So if you take a look at like something like Chase Bank, right? Chase will give you 1% in a year, right? And I always talk about Novatech, but you can also do other things too that will give you extra percentages on your money. Like there is real estate that they have real estate companies that you can invest $20 every week or $100 every month. You can start really small and you'll see returns on your money. But there are a lot of things that we want that we could cut back on. Like, for example, lessening your needs. Like something that we need is food, right? We obviously need to eat. Some people eat every day, some people don't eat every day. There's a lot of studies coming out that, the less you eat, the longer you'll live, right? But that's not really what I'm telling you to try to do is fast, although that can be healthy and beneficial for you. Going out to eat every day. Some of us eat out every day. You don't need to eat out every day. If you think about how much money that you can save just not going out to eat. Think about it. You go to even if you eat fast food, at the very minimum, you're going to be spending $10, especially if you're eating more than once a day. So let's say if you're spending $20 a day on fast food alone, alone, this is something that you could cut back on. Now, imagine if you save that money. For example, what I started doing, there's a new company called Novatech. I think they only been around for maybe 3 or 4 years. Now, there's a lot of people that are skeptical of it, but I started with $200, and that was the lower end. That $200 has now turned to like 20, I want to say 2,200 or 2,800, something like that. I have to look at it again, right? And every week, and what it does, it's a hedge fund, right? And what they do is they take your money and they put it into it's a crypto hedge fund and they multiply your money. So every week I'm getting anywhere from 3% to 6% on my money. So what I do with that money is every time I get my profits for that week, I put it back into the grand total. So to that grand total, like say if I started with 200 and that week I got maybe 6 or 5%, whatever that money was, I put it back to the grand total and it continues to multiply that. Or, S&P 500. You can pick one of these 500 companies and over the course of years, you can have money. And it's crazy, right? Most people aren't doing it. A lot of people are skeptical of it, but listen, I've only seen results. But imagine if you could take that $10 a day and then every day you did that, you just reinvested it. Stop going out to eat so much, right? A lot of people like to go out every weekend, go to the bar, buy bottles. Yeah, those people with liquor companies are getting liquor stores, they're getting super rich while you're wasting your money. If you learn to cut back on the things that you don't necessarily need. I know me, I have a lot of sneakers. I'm not sure if you guys can see, but very excessive with sneakers. I probably have over 200 pairs of sneakers, right? And for a regular person that's not necessarily a celebrity, that's a lot of sneakers. But I had to learn to cut back because if you think about it, I'm spending maybe, let's say, $500, anywhere from $300 to $500 a month on sneakers. Think about what that can add up to, especially if I'm getting compound interest on that. Think about that. So if you're getting compound interest on money that you can save, think about where you'll be in 2 years. Think about where you'll be in 3 years. Think about with some of the things that I'm telling you. Think about where you'll be in 6 or 7 months. The amount of money that I've been saving quarterly is crazy. But simply just from cutting back on things. And this is one of my plans. My plan is for the next quarter. So this quarter is almost up, right? But for the next quarter, for 3 months, I'm not going to buy anything. Well, as far as luxury items like sneakers, clothes, things that are not necessities, because I have a lot of those things. But if you sacrifice for 3 months and you show some financial discipline, if you show fiscal discipline with your money, right, you'll see how far you can get. But this is the thing. A lot of us don't want to diminish our needs and lessen our wants in order for to get the certain type of lifestyle, especially when you guys are young. Think about if you can save a lot of money and then have that money work for you. And then in a few years, you'll have so much money, you have so much returns, you have so much yields, and then you can afford to do a lot of these things, right? You can afford to go out, you can afford to have fun. Another thing, let's talk about some of the wants that we want that we don't necessarily need. I feel like every other day I have a young boy talking about, "Oh, yo, KB, how do I get a rotation of girls? How do I build a rotation of girls?" And at first, I thought that was okay, cool. I'll tell you, this is how you do it. And I even have a whole course on it, how to have a rotation of girls. But now that I'm just a tad bit wiser, right? And some years later, I'm thinking, well, dude, you want to have a rotation of girl, but that shit gets expensive. You think that you're gonna be talking to a whole bunch of women? You think you're gonna be talking to, um, you know, 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 girls, and that shit is not expensive? So nowadays, when guys come to me and tell me, "Oh, I want to have a rotation of girls," okay, you can do that. That's fine. That's fine. Um, but can you afford that? You shouldn't be talking to a multitude of girls and you can't afford to have one, right? A lot of guys, I know some of these young guys be like, "Oh, I want a rotation of girls," but then it's like, damn, I don't want to go on these dates. And when I tell them just to come back to the crib, they don't want to. No, they don't. Listen, whenever you talk to a female, right? And if you're even remotely attracted to her, if she's remotely attractive, you're going to have to spend money, whether that's upfront, whether that's indirect, right? I know a lot of people that say, "Well, I just pay for my girls. I just pay for them straight up. Tell them what you want. Just give me the coochie, and that's it." Some people think like that, but how they see it is, well, you're gonna pay either way, whether we going on a date, whether I'm taking you out to eat, whether you my girlfriend, I'm buying you nice things, right? Either way, and even for the guys who think that doing 50-50 is okay, you still got to pay for your food, even if you go out with this girl, let's say 4 times in a month, and the bill's maybe 200 or $150, 100. Even if you split it half, that's still money you're going to have to be paying. This is why I tell guys, when you're in your early 20s, you don't need a rotation of girls unless you have it like that. Unless you have it so much so where these girls don't mind just coming back to your house, and they're so obsessed with you. They're so like, and don't get me wrong, like I've had it like that when I was younger, but I regret that shit because I spent so much time on women, and it was just like, damn, I wish I would have just spent this much time on my craft. I wish I would have spent this much time on having money, right? These are the things that we don't need. Like, this is why I'm telling you, diminish your needs and lessen your wants so you can move smarter. And trust me, when you get in your later 20s, that shit will pay off. That shit will pay off. Like in the last one, another podcast that I said you should have at least a year's salary saved up. at least a year's salary saved up to where if you couldn't work for a year, if something happened, if you had to take the lead in your home, if you had to take care of your mother or your father, if you had to take care of your mother, right? Although those responsibilities shouldn't always fall on you, but you have to prepare for contingencies, right? And then a lot of the times you tell people, oh, I don't have money for this, I don't have money for that. As men, society doesn't give a, they don't give a flying F. They don't care. Oh, I don't have the money for that. Okay, you a brokey. Okay, brokey. They don't care about your hardship. They don't care about what you've been through. They don't care about what you're going through. Yeah, some people may show sympathy for you. You may have exceptional people. And I get it. Nowadays, you may have some women that will say, "Hey, I'll pick up the slack. I'll do that for you." But that as a man, that is not something you want to be in. That is not a position you want to be in. Yeah, maybe it's okay sometime, but that is not something you want to do, right? So when you have money, and even if you say your average income, if your average income is $50,000 a year, about, right? But let's say if you even if you earn lower than that, that means you have to cut back. You shouldn't be going out every weekend. You shouldn't be going out every day. You should be going out to restaurants every other day. I say with the most humbleness, yeah, I make a little over average, well, a lot over average, but I'm not doing all that shit right now. Some people's goal, a lot of people don't have a year's worth of average salary in your bank. I'm trying to save to 1 million just so I could, like, start a family and stop being a heathen, right? Because I am surrounded by religious people, so they're like, a lot of my friends are getting married. My mom's always like, "You need to stop having sex outside of marriage. Just get a wife. Just marry her. Just marry her." So this way, I'm like, "All right, cool. Just relax. I got this. Let me handle this, right?" But my standards for myself is I should have at least half a mil or $1 million saved up so I can take care of a family just in case. But a lot of your mindsets are like that. Some of you guys are making 20K a year, 30K a year. But then talking about, I need to go out with my friends. No, tell your friends, now I'm staying in today. Get a good gym membership. You go to Planet Fitness. No, for an individual, it's $10 a month. That's nothing. Nothing. You could save all the bottles you need and go fucking recycle bottles just to pay for your gym membership for the month. For the month. And while you're down and you're grinding, work on your body. You be in the gym every day, right? Go to the gym every day. Work on your body. Work on yourself. But these accessories, buying jewelry. Yeah, but I brought jewelry and I did a lot of I brought a lot of jewelry when I shouldn't have. But whatever, I got it. It's whatever. Buying all these accessories, things that are not necessities, things that you don't need. All your friends are going on a trip, and right now you shouldn't be going on a trip. Let's say if the trip you want to go to Greece. I heard Greece right now, to go to Greece is no less than $1,200, and that's no less than. Okay, you want to go to Greece. Greece is fun. You can do that. But think about it. Would it be more beneficial for you to save that 1,200 or go on that trip to Greece because everybody else is going on it? And even if you're going to take a trip, save for that trip ahead of time. Every summer, especially if every summer you take trips. Okay, cool. You take a trip every summer. It is now March. Today's the 1st. You should have started saving last month for that trip. If you guys are going to be taking trips, pay in advance, save in advance. But even furthermore, if you know that you shouldn't be taking a trip, take a year off. Take a year off from saving. Take a year off from going on trips. If you don't need it, right? If you don't need it, just save the money. It's okay to sacrifice for a year. And I don't think people think long term. You don't think ahead of time. It's okay to sacrifice a year. And I get it. A lot of people have this idea of FOMO, the fear of missing out because you don't have a lot of things. But if you stay down, if you save about a year's worth of salary, a year's worth of income, and you save up and you stack your money and you just make small little sacrifices. And honestly, real friends, if you have real friends, you don't always need to go out to do everything. Real friends will come over and play some games with you. They'll play PlayStation with you, to Switch, whatever it is, whatever the gaming system you have, right? Oh, yo, let's cook food. Yo, let's get some food and cook it. Hey, yo, that sound kind of gay, but still, right? They'll fuck around, especially if you're from New York. But it don't matter, bro. Like we could chef it up, right? You and your guys, you know what I'm saying? Maybe have your girl over. You don't need to do this all the time. But and just on top of saving, what I'm saying is there's vehicles that you can find to multiply that money too. Going to parties, drinking, another thing, smoking. Some people are spending 10 to 20K up to 30K a year on their smoking habit alone. Did you ever think about how much money you could save from not smoking? I spoke to somebody, he's talking about, yeah, I get a dub. I get a dub 3 times a week. I heard one person say he get a dub every day, but yeah, this guy was making about 70K a year. But still, think of how much money you could be saving. So you're spending about $120, $140 a week on your smoking habit. Do you understand how much money you could be saving? And even if you got it like that, let's say it like this, okay, let's say if you spend anywhere from $50 to $150 a week on your smoking habit. Okay, let's see if you do that a week. All right, cool. So if you're doing that a week, at least match it. For every ounce you buy, whatever it is, you match it and put that money away. But put it into a vehicle that's gonna multiply your money. Because a lot of y'all don't even think about this shit. It's very simple. I can't relate personally. I don't smoke. I've never a cig of weed, never touched a day of my lips, my lips a day in my life. I ain't never smoked a blunt. Ever. Ever. I don't even drink. I'm just somebody who cares for my awareness. And here's another thing, and this is a popular take that a lot of you most of you won't like. Even if you have a significant other. Now, I'm not saying men can't do it, but I hear it a lot of times for guys who complain about their girlfriends. Oh, my girl always wants to go out. She always wants to do this. Well, tell her, hey, listen. Oh, come on. They blocked me on the podcast. Whatever. See, this is why you need to be on YouTube. But a lot of the times, you guys, you have complained about your girlfriend, and you be like, oh well, my girl, she she didn't, she always wants to go out, she always wants to spend money, she always wants to do this, she always wants to do that. And it gets crazy because I don't have the money for it, I don't have the money to do that, I don't have the money to do this, you know and a lot of people complain about it. But it's like, well, if you need to cut off your girlfriend, then cut off your girlfriend. Cut off your girlfriend. Because if she is that much of a burden to you, to where she is making you spend money that you don't have, and she's always on your back, always hassling from you for money that you don't have, it's okay sometimes to walk away. It's okay sometimes to walk away. So and that's the thing, and that's another thing that I tell guys all the time. If you can't afford to have a girlfriend, if you can't afford to have a girlfriend at the time, if you can't, don't go on dates. Don't date. Don't date at the time if you can't afford to have a girlfriend. And this is what I tell guys all the time. If you can't afford a girlfriend, you can't go on dates. If you talk about, oh, I'm not trying to spend a lot of money on dates, a lot of the times you can't afford it, so you shouldn't be doing it. And that's the God honest truth. That's the God honest truth. That's the God honest truth. And this is another thing. Kill the need to try to compete with people, right? Because a lot of the times you guys are trying to compete with people who have nice things. You're trying to compete with some of your friends, and they may be in a place that you're just not mentally. But even still, that is another thing that's hurting because you're trying to compete with other people. You're trying to have these nice things. You're trying to do what other people are doing. You're putting yourself in a tough position that you necessarily don't need to be. To the best of your knowledge, you should save. You should get the money that you can get, and you should, you should monetize yourself in a way where you can do these things. So the point is, you know, if you're not competing, you won't necessarily be looking at people to try to get things done in a certain way, right? But the point is, you want to diminish your needs and lessen your wants, so this way life can be a little bit easier for you. Now, I'm not saying you got to do it forever. I like luxurious things. I like nice things, and I'm going to have nice things. But you have to understand there are seasons where you need to grind. There are grinding seasons. There are seasons where you stay down and grind and focus on the grind and focus on your habits and focus on your bag and focus on your money to make yourself a made man, to allow yourself to put yourself in a position to be a made man, and allow yourself to be in a better position in life in general. And a lot of people don't understand that. Stop competing with people. Stop trying to do things that you can't do. Stop trying to afford things that you can't afford. Right? Take a quarter off. Take 2 quarters off of the year. Right? Stop trying to talk to a multitude of girls at once when you can't even afford one. And if you can't afford one, don't do that. Unless she's reasonable, unless she doesn't mind being with you and staying with you while you're down until you can make things better. As long as she doesn't hold you back, as long as she's not a distraction, then yes, you can do those things. But not until then. Diminish your needs and lessen your wants until you can find yourself in a position to where you can have more. All right, guys, we're gonna end this podcast off, and then I guess I'll take some questions for the people that are here. And I don't know why they kicked me off. I feel like I wasn't saying anything inappropriate. Maybe because I said gay. I'm not sure, but whatever. Yeah, they kicked me off, so there's that. I did hit the uphill, but whatever. Anyway, this is Jo Say It Ain't, and then we'll get to some questions after that.
Yeah, nigga. This is that big Hollywood shit. Copping that shit you wish you could get. You know what I'm saying? We ain't fucking around out here, man. Fuck you thought it was, nigga. You know how we do it, nigga. We doing back-to-back shit. Ain't no stopping, ain't no motherfucking breaks, nigga. This shit ain't for the weak. So tell them niggas, watch out. I'm gon' blow, ain't depending on them niggas. Yeah, I'm gon' roll. I ain't even tripping about the lies being told. That's what happens when you poppin' niggas say it ain't so. Say it ain't. Ain't so. Got the city on fire, but I'm still too cold. Always tell it like it is. Yeah, you know I'm too bold, but you still sleeping on me, niggas. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't. Ain't so, got it figured out. Try to be the nice guy, but now I'm on a different route. Probably got your girlfriend in my crib, just trying to dick her down. And best believe I kick her out if she don't plan on putting out. Yeah, cause I'm a dog, I'm a fucking dog. Got a lot of bitches, but I'm always trying to fuck some more. Yeah, so what you want from a nigga? I done found out the game, and they don't be loving niggas. I'm good, I'm all set. The way I do my own thing, yeah, they all vex. Out here calling shots like a motherfucking rep. Whole time y'all was playing checkers, I was playing chess. Man, this shit a mess. I'm gon' blow. Ain't depending on them niggas. Yeah, I'm gon' roll. I ain't even tripping about the lies being told. That's what happens when you poppin' niggas say it ain't so. Say it ain't. Ain't so. Got the city on fire, but I'm still too cold. Always tell it like it is. Yeah, you know I'm too bold, but you still sleeping on me. Niggas say it ain't so. Say it ain't. Ain't so that I'm back, nigga. Tell Shorty that I'm in. She know he a whack, nigga. Doing all that yapping. He just hating cause my stack's bigger. Hit it from the back. I'm the one that got her ass bigger. Yeah, and I'm a boss. I'm a fucking boss. Feeling like I'm Cali, baby. I ain't never took a loss. Nah, and I made y'all with the cross. Putting on for my city, yeah, I put that on the cross. So I'm good. I'm all set. Who's real, who's fake? Now let's put them to the test. I ain't worried about a thing, baby. I ain't never stressed. Ben thought I was that nigga. Man, I must confess. Bitch, I been the best. I'm gon' blow, ain't depending on them niggas. Yeah, I'm gon' roll. I ain't even tripping about the lies being told. That's what happens when you poppin' niggas say it ain't so. Say it ain't. Ain't so. Got the city on fire, but I'm still too cold. Always tell it like it is. Yeah, you know I'm too bold, but you still sleeping on me. Niggas say it ain't so. Say it ain't.
All right, guys, that was Jo Say It Ain't. So I don't know why I got kicked off of TikTok. I feel like I wasn't saying anything necessarily inappropriate. Um, but maybe it was a cursing. Maybe I got a little carried away. Whatever. Hopefully it gets unbanned. It's saying until March 8th, but that's not gonna stop the grind. We're gonna stay super consistent. But this is why I tell you guys to follow me on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. We need a shift. We need guys to come over here, and this is why I go live on different platforms. Also follow me on Instagram. Lately, I haven't been going live on Instagram as much. Maybe I'll go for a little bit. Let's see. But if you guys got any questions, shoot now. Let me hear what you guys want to talk about. All right, guys, if you got any questions, just ask. Because if not, your boy gonna get off of here. That shit is so whack, though, that they do that. I'm currently in a space of a lot of deep work. I'm working on myself mainly, but my daily tasks include 2 workouts a day, school, internship. I'm about to get a job. How do I stay consistent? Staying consistent is having discipline. That's the key to it, is discipline.
Yep. Whether you feel like it or not.
That's the key to it, is discipline. So, a lot of the times we're motivated to do a lot, but what beats motivation is consistency and discipline, because when you're disciplined, you're going to do the things that you don't want to do when you don't want to do it, right? So like, say if you don't want to wake up at 6 a.m., you don't want to wake up at 5 a.m., but because you're consistent and you're disciplined and you stay on that path, then you'll start to see those results. The problem stops when you just stop. When you start to stop, that's where the problem comes in. When you just begin to stop and you don't want to do it anymore. You have to stay consistent. The only thing that's gonna make you go further and is gonna keep you consistent on your path is discipline. That's the only thing. And it's the only thing that's gonna be. There's no easy way around it. There's no hack. Yeah, maybe you can take drugs to like help you focus, but that's not gonna keep you consistent. This is the only thing that's gonna keep you consistent. This in your heart. The link to the Zoom is in there. I'll keep it in there for a little while because I'm only gonna stay on it for a little while. His time goes around midnight, so he had to do. Says, can you name some of the things you would tell a good girl before putting her in a relationship, setting boundaries? But yeah, see, I did this. You have to go on a relationship course. I can't give up everything, but I can tell you how to filter. One, you don't want a vindictive woman, right? You don't want somebody who's vengeful. You don't want somebody who says she's gonna cheat back, right? And look for femininity, somebody who's feminine, because feminine translates to servitude. It translates to being in a feminine nature, compliant, right? We want submissive girls, obviously, but that submissive translates to feminine. Somebody who's a girl, who's a female, who's in her feminine nature, not all that aggressive shit. All that girl says, "Oh, I'm focused on my career right now. I'm focused on this. I'm focused on that." Who's not gonna put a priority on having a family, or maybe getting married, or maybe reproducing, because you're more in your feminine. You talking about being a go-getter. I don't want to hear that shit. You talking about being a go-getter. You the man or I'm the man? What are you talking about? right? So, that those are some of the things you want to look for. Other than that, subscribe to Patreon, get the relationship course, because all that shit is on there. I'm not about to talk about that right now. Thanks, man, for listening for over a year. I appreciate it, man. Continue, stay consistent. All his links are there if you go to the bio. Yeah, all my links are in the bio. I have to put it on this video, but if you look at other videos, the links are usually there. Is a girl poor quality if she sleeps with a guy that has a girlfriend? Uh yeah, there's a morality thing there that you need to filter out, right? It's something to take into consideration. It doesn't mean necessarily that she will never stay loyal. There's a lot of different contingencies to talk about that. There's a lot of different things that will put somebody in that situation. So, would you consider low quality? It's definitely something to take into account because there's a lack of morality there. Some girls will do it, some girls won't. Some girls will do it for the right guy. Some girls will never do it. You have to understand the situation. If that's her ex who she was with for like 5 years or 2 years or even a year or even 8 months, and she knows he has a girlfriend, but she still loves him. She has very strong feelings for him. They have a connection, they have a sexual connection, they have sexual chemistry. Yeah, then that it's understandable. It's still not good, but having sex with somebody takes two. That's not a person to only take accountability by themselves. You know, you can't point the blame in one direction for something like that. But anyway, guys, do you guys have any questions? Anybody on Zoom before I get off of here? Speak now, forever hold your peace.
Yo, KB.
What's the deal, man?
So, I've been reading one of the books you recommended. It's called "As a Man Thinketh," I think that's what it's called.
Right.
And after reading it, I realized it's like helped me a lot with understanding the basics of like creating your own reality and stuff.
Right.
Like with the thoughts. But one thing I always have a really hard time with is just controlling my thoughts using my subconscious thoughts. And I noticed that it's usually like negative and it goes against the type of reality that I want to manifest. So if there's any type of like tips or something you could help like sort of control your thoughts, so that, that would help.
Well, the thing, I kind of, the manifesting thing, I kind of hate it, but then it's a real thing, right? But the thing about manifesting, you have to understand is you also have to take action too, right? It's not only just thoughts, but thoughts do play a big part because you have to first think a thing before you do it. There's nothing in this world that you do as far as taking action that you first didn't think. And what you have to understand is a lot of times you're picking up on other people's thoughts. Because sometimes some thoughts are so negative, some thoughts are just like so fucking left field, and I'll be out somewhere, I'm like, I would never do something like that. It'd be like some of the most crazy, I'd be like, that's not my thought. And I remember watching a podcast one time, and people were talking about other people's thoughts, and a good theory on it was about when you're in the shower, you get a lot of thoughts, right? And
Mhm.
in some way, somehow, that water holds memory, and this is a real thing. Water does hold memory, and somehow when like things evaporate, it goes into the air, and the air brings down water, and then that water is getting cycled. But then sometimes, because you're in the rain, you're in the shower, and you're getting all these random thoughts, you are picking up on other people's thoughts. And just randomly, I do believe we do pick them up on other people's thoughts. But to control your thoughts, this is something that's going to take time, right? It's a muscle. Literally, your mind is a muscle, and if you're cerebral, you understand that it's the main focus on your muscles. Anything that you work on over time grows stronger. And one of the things that I did best to control negative thoughts was whenever, and I used to get crazy, random ass, very like outlandish negative thoughts. Like, I'm driving. What if I fucking drive and, ever seen Final Destination? Remember, you ever seen the Final Destination movies where like
Yeah.
crazy ass shit happens in traffic, like driving behind a log truck and one of the logs fall off and decapitates your head. Like, I used to think crazy shit like that. But one thing I learned in a book, I'm not sure where I learned it from. Maybe it was a lecture, that whenever you have a negative thought, you automatically replace it with a positive thought, and you
Mm.
tell yourself, no, everything is all is well. And this is something that I do. I always say everything is well, everything is all well. Or if it's a thought that I've dwelled on for some time and I created the scene in my head, I then create a different scene. It doesn't matter where I'm at. Like, say if I created a scene where if I walked into a room and they started shooting, somehow I got shot. So then I create a thought where I walk into that room and I think of something that I desire. I walk into that room and it's the baddest bitches in there and they just all want me. Or I walk into a room and um there's a bag of money laying there, or somebody presenting me with a bag of money. I always switch it for something that I desire. And remember, if you're reading As a Man Thinketh, one thing they talk about is you get what you focus on, right? You don't get
Yeah.
you get what you focus on. You don't get you don't get the things that you want necessarily, but whatever you focus on, you get more of. It's like if you see if you get a new car, you'll start to see that car more often because it's now something that is a part of your reality. Or when you want a new car or you desire something new, you start to see it more often because you attract what you focus on more. So whenever you get a negative thought, you say, oh, well, you know what? No, all is well. All is well. And you replace that thought with something positive and you say, no, all is well. And that's literally what I do whenever I get a negative thought. But one thing you have to understand is that's going to take time. Just like it takes time to build muscle in the gym, it's going to take time to create that new habit. But then once you get that negative thought and you release it and you replace it with positive words of affirmation, and then you replace it with a positive thought, you then let it go and don't worry about it. Because a lot of the times negative things happen in your life when you start to worry and you match that thought with those negative emotions. So those are
Mhm.
some things that you want to do. You want to stay away from the negative thought, but also, replace it with something positive and don't dwell in how that makes you feel. Because that's the dangerous part. And that's one of the keys to getting things very fast, is matching that feeling with the thought, because now you are that thing. Because it's like, what do you do to become the person you want to be? You just start doing those things, whether that be a millionaire, a basketball player, a world champion, whatever the case may be. You train like that person, you do the things they do. So now when you start thinking that negative thought and it's like, damn, I have this negative thought in my head and now I'm thinking about it and now it's on my mind and now I'm feeling the feeling that those thoughts would bring, and that's how you bring it into your life. So learn to replace it with a positive, with its polar opposite, which would be the positive, or just tell yourself it's all well, or do both. But just learn to let it go and don't worry about it. But that's going to take time, though. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. You have to build that habit, especially when you haven't been doing it.
And I feel like a lot of it matters, like with your environment and the people you hang around with. Um, yeah, so I'll try to do that. And thank
Yeah,
you. I appreciate
yeah, no,
you for the.
of course. But to answer your last question before you go, friends do influence you. If you're around somebody negative all the time, right? If you're around people that
Mhm.
are negative all the time, yeah, that shit is gonna have an effect on you. So if you think that's a thing, then see less of those people.
Well, what if they're like family members? You know.
You gotta get from around it. You gotta get from
Okay.
around it. So if you go in the house and they're always running there, all right, well, I'm going to my room, I'm gonna holler at you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Try to be around it as least as possible until you can get your own place and get out and get your own situation, right?
Yeah.
You got to do that because I get it. Not everybody's ready to be woken up. Not everybody has the same level of awareness. Not everybody has the same level of consciousness, but you got to get around from it.
Mhm. All right. Thank
100%.
you. Gabriel. Really appreciate you.
No
And
problem.
really like your content and keep doing what you're doing.
No problem. Thank you very much. All right, guys. Does anybody have anything else to say? Because I'm about to get off here and head to the gym. True. Sometimes family does need to be cut off. But anyway, guys, I'm going to call this quits for today. I'm about to head to the gym. Make sure you guys subscribe to the course. The ebook is coming soon. We're gonna make the obsession ebook. I'm gonna give you guys a free ebook first. And then make sure you guys get the relationship course. Make sure you follow me on TikTok, subscribe to the Patreon. And yeah, we're just gonna get going like that. I'll holler at you guys. Follow me on Instagram too if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, you know. And make sure you guys are subscribing to YouTube because as you see, I got kicked off of TikTok today. But if you came on here, you saw me on here, and if you was already on here, you didn't have to get off. I'm pretty consistent now. I'm doing this just about every day. And I'll be back here tomorrow. Even if I can't go on TikTok, I'll be live on Instagram. So make sure you guys follow me because I have a goal for 22, at least 22 podcasts this month. So it has to get done either way, with or without that individual platform. Shit got to get done. And that maybe it's my fault. Maybe I need to watch my language just a little bit, whatever, because they find any reason to get me off, especially when I'm uplifting grown young men, you know? So we're going to do that and we're going to get it done. But anyway, guys, I'll holler at you. I'll be back here tomorrow for sure. You know, consistency is key.